Alright, good day everyone. Welcome back to Entitled People subreddit with story about people who think the rules don't apply to them and they should get whatever they want. With no further ado, let's get Orgasm with rKush. The first story of today's video was posted by Days Dragonheart 85. So buying my nephew's lunch means I have to buy random people's lunch. This just happens. I work for a security company that has a branch that transports patients from regular hospitals to mental health hospitals. Can't say more due to both company policy and HIPAA laws. Anyway, our local office is one of the main hospitals here. I started getting hungry and we didn't have any transport at the moment, so I decided to go down the cafeteria and get some food. When I got down there, I was surprised to see my second eldest nephew, who we'll call R, looking over everything with a defeated look on his face. I walked up and said, "R, what you doing here?" He turned and said, "Mama had to bring Papa here cause the only dog around that he needs is here." Side note, they live an hour and 45 minutes away. "Okay, so why you down here looking so upset?" I asked. "I got hungry but I don't have enough money to get anything," he replied. "No worries, get whatever you want," I told him. I texted his mom to let her know he was with me eating. As soon as I paid for our food, a random woman taps me on the shoulder, looks me in the eye and says, "Aren't you going to pay for mine too?" "I never planned to," I responded. "Why not? You paid for that chubby kid who has been hanging around for half an hour. Why not pay for a cute girl too?" "Well, first of all, the chubby kid as you put it just so happens to be one of my nephews who's here with his mom and stepdad somewhere. Second of all, I have a girlfriend of the last 5 years that makes you look like an anglerfish. Third, why the hell would you just assume I would buy you anything?" "You're rude as hell. I'm going to report you to the hospital director and have your job." "Good luck, I don't work for him so I don't see it happening." "Then why did you have a hospital ID badge?" "Not that it's any of your business, but my company rents an office in the building and we have them so we can scan through the doors." "Whatever, I'm still reporting it." "Okay, well the person you're talking about is 2 people behind you and just saw the whole thing, so have fun with that." Then I walked off and joined my nephew at the table. Not sure what was said after I walked off, but I saw the woman leave the cafeteria with nothing and the director come out of the pickup area laughing his butt off. Hey guys, this is so messed up. Even if it wasn't his nephew, imagine seeing someone pay for a person who has no money just to help them out. Then instead of thinking, you know what, I should help someone too. This is a hospital and there are going to be people having a bad day. Nah, me wants free stuff too. Heck humanity, give me free stuff now cause I said so or I'm gonna get you fired. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these people? Now moving on to our next story posted by Softy is here. Why would she work here if she's just going to act disabled? So for context, I have a lot of mental issues timed with anxiety and pressure. When I get too overstimulated, I start to twitch, stutter, say intrusive thoughts out loud, hum, and shake. I was currently working at a popular fast food place. Before I had started working, I informed my boss and the managers I'd be working with these issues and got permission to listen to music during work since I worked the fry station. The orders on the fry station came upon a little screen and I didn't have to communicate with anyone as long as I was fast enough to get the orders through before they needed to ask. Normally, I would work with a pair of Bluetooth earbuds in, just loud enough to barely hear what was going on just in case I have to listen. However, these 2 girls I work near would loudly talk about me, assuming that I couldn't hear. It was the normal stuff that I usually heard at work. Why does she get to listen to music and we don't? She must be their favorite, etc. Classic B-word stuff. One day, however, I realized that I had accidentally left my earbuds at home. My manager that day was really sweet, but we were short-staffed and I didn't want to ask to go home and grab them. I also didn't have the guts to ask anyone if they had something I could borrow. So I decided to toughen it out and work my shift without them. Being in the kitchen without music was loud and the 2 girls gossiping didn't help. I was starting to shake and hum already. However, since this was the first time they had ever gotten to talk to me during work, they jumped on the opportunity. We had a conversation that went something like this. B1. B-word 1, B2, batch 2, MA, manager, me. Please keep in mind that I do stutter through this, especially on s and th sounds. B1, hey, can I ask a personal question? Me, shoot. B1, what makes you so special that you can listen to music on earbuds but we can't even play it out loud on our phones? Me, I do fries and don't like talking. You don't do fries and do like talking. B2, are you saying we talk too much? Me, no, I'm saying I don't like talking and I don't have to talk to you to do my job. B1, I just think it's funny how you get to me. Male rooster absorbing W word. B1. Excuse me? B2. What did you just call her? Manager. She's walked in and heard the last bit at this point. Don't mind her, she can't help it. B2. She did this before. Look at her. She's acting like this to get out of work early since she doesn't have her special music today. Manager. That's uncalled for. Me. Wet paint. B1. We just wanna know why she would work here if she's just gonna act disabled. Me. I'm a college student on her own. I need a job to get wet paint food. B2. Are you just retarded? Why don't you go on disability on something? At this point, my manager gets mad and yells at them to stop. I'm breathing heavy and I'm on the verge of a panic attack, so she takes me to the freezer in the back and hands me a bag of liquid ice cream to squish. We've previously talked about how I enjoy the weird back feeling and thought they were fun to hold. She also has a brother with similar problems to mine and new sensory stimulation is helpful to some. I don't know why Squish Squish ice cream bag is funny, but it is. She leaves and comes back a few minutes later and tells me that I can clock out for the night and not to worry about them. So I do. The next night I come back and B1 was put on a week-long suspension and B2 was fired as it was her final strike for causing workplace drama. I'm very glad that the manager was able to help. And as for the squishy back thing, I don't have sensory issues, but I love to play with those. They are just so weird feeling. Now let's move on to the next story posted by Leith Jean. Had a bogey on my tail in the parking lot. Deploy flares. So this happened about a day ago. Honestly, still getting a few random giggles thinking about it. This feels like a pretty good example of entitlement, but I apologize if not. Anyways, I have a local grocery store near me with a decent sized lot. It doesn't usually end up full, but I guess yesterday was crazy for reasons I've yet to care about finding out. No space and drivers were looking for spots that had even less patience. I got in well enough to the store to do my minor amount of shopping, exiting with barely 2 bags full of snacks and sandwich makings. As I exited, a few of the hovering parking spot snipers were following people from the doors to cars. A guy in a large hatchback tagged me and slowly followed me. Usually, I would dip between cars to the next aisle over and they don't bother to follow because it gets a little creepy then. I don't like people willfully hovering behind me like that, even less so when in vehicles. Nope, not this guy. Guns it around the aisle and back to me to follow my path. I jump across again, pretending I was an idiot who forgot where I parked. Guess what? Follows me again. This next time, I'm far more blatant about shaking him off and double back. He promptly lowers his window and shouts at me, "Just find your effing vehicle so we can both be happy." Doesn't even give me a chance to reply before rolling his window up again. I figure my bags aren't that heavy, and the cold was enough so that my sandwich mate was fine if I took a bit. So I began wandering, letting the guy think I'm finding my vehicle when I knew exactly where it was. He cursed at me a couple more times and seemed to think he was my designated replacement to a spot. I didn't time it, but I believe he hung on for 10 grueling minutes of my wandering before gunning it hard out of the lot, going straight through a 4-way stop and garnering the ire of several drivers. No cops, unfortunately. The funny part, as I left, I could see a few scattered spots he could have taken if he weren't so obstinate or driven by pure spite. The best part though, I walked to the store. Oh my god, she walked to the store. Not exactly the plot twist I was expecting, but anyway, great ending, right guys? Moving on to the next story, posted by Catherine the Sleepy. Massive Karen's attack on my autistic brother ends up with me realizing my boyfriend is awesome. TLDR, an encounter with Karen in a bookstore makes me realize my boyfriend is a keeper. Hello, I'm a lurker here, but since my relationship's anniversary is coming, I think I should share my encounter with an entitled parent here, as it was when I realized my boyfriend was the one for me. Meet the cast. Me, 25 female, tiny Vietnamese girl living in the US since 9 years old, with a usually shy yet cheerful personality who loves to read and crazy for chocolate. Brother, 20 male, short, chubby Vietnamese guy with some mental issues but extremely intelligent and truly the sweetest boy ever. He loves dinosaurs and idolizes my boyfriend. Let's call him B. Boyfriend. 29 male, tall and muscular, long-haired and beardy Brazilian guy. Despite his permanent mean look, he is extremely kind, intelligent, engineer, and lovely. Loves my family as his own. Keep this last bit in mind, it's important. Let's call him BF. Karen. A massive lump of lard and entitlement. If you ever saw an obese Karen, you saw this one. Weird clothes, an ugly bag, that haircut, huge sunglasses, and a voice that makes your ears bleed. Karen spawned, probably an 8-year-old male, overweight brat, entitled as his mother. Not gonna say much more, don't wanna just talk a kid. This story takes place during 2018's December, a week before Christmas. My boyfriend and I were visiting my parents for the holidays and we wanted to go shopping for gifts in a shopping mall nearby. We decided to take my brother as well since he was bored at home and I wanted to spend more time with him. At the shopping mall, I decided to put my grand plan in motion. My boyfriend always surprises me on Christmas, but it would be my turn that year. I usually never ask him for anything, but this time I made the cutest face and voice I could. Me. Baby, can you get me a chocolate milkshake please? I will wait in this bookstore here with B. Boyfriend. Okay, be right back. Kissed my head. Yeah, my head. It's faster because he's much taller than me. I picked this bookstore for 3 reasons. His gift would be a book as he loves reading just as much as I do. It was far away from McDonald's where I would get my milkshake. And, more importantly, they had books with dinosaurs models. My boyfriend noticed it and it became the perfect alibi since my brother was around. Now is when things started to go wrong. I took my brother to the place where they kept the dinosaurs books, way in the back, and told him to pick a book and wait there. He picked even before I could stop talking. I left him there because the library was big and I had just a few minutes to buy my boyfriend's gift and hide it in my bag before he could see it. I was maybe 10 minutes into my frenzied search for a book when I heard some loud voices from where I left my brother. There I saw that monstrous Karen yelling and trying to wrestle the book my brother picked from him, while her spawn cheered from the sides and a couple of workers, 2 teenage girls, stood there stunned, not knowing what to do. I rushed there and yelled, Me. What are you doing? Karen. This freak doesn't want to give my baby the book, so I'm taking it. Karen spawned. Mommy, get me the T-Rex. I grabbed her fat arm, which was easily 5 times thicker than mine, and tried to pull her off him. Me. Leave him alone, he picked it up first. Karen. Stop lying and don't touch me, B-word. Pushed me. Now you're mentally ill son of a boat. Give me this book now. She shoved me and I landed on my butt some 4 feet away from her, stunned. This is when she started to slap my brother hard. We could hear the smacks. On the 4th slap though, my boyfriend came out of nowhere, tore that mustard from my brother while pushing her and putting himself between my brother and her, who also fell on her butt. Now I would like to say he is usually very calm, very quiet, a guy of very few words, and I only saw him angry once, but even then he never raised his voice. This time was different. His face was pure murderous anger and he roared at the woman. Boyfriend. Don't you dare hurting my brother. I was shocked to see him like that, but Karen went from red to white and her kid went on mute. Another employee came dragging a security officer. Karen screamed she was assaulted. My boyfriend, again calm as if nothing happened but angry as hell, explained his side of the story. I explained what happened. The teenage employees did the same. Cameras were checked and the bruises on my poor brother were looked at. The police were called and everything got reviewed. Turns out this Karen already had her problems with the law and the only reason why we didn't press charges is that we just wanted to finish shopping. She was arrested anyway, so why bother? In the end, my boyfriend had to go buy another milkshake for me since he dropped it when he rushed to aid my brother. I used the time to buy his book and my brother's with a huge discount. Later, when we were calmer, I started to analyze the whole situation and what he did. He looked scary, but the way he did that was so cool and hot. He called my brother his brother and protected him so ferociously. It was like watching a lion protecting his band. My parents were so grateful they almost cried. If they liked him before, now they loved him to the point of calling him a son. And my brother started to get along with him even better than before. You guys should see them playing Street Fighter together. It's so wholesome and funny. And me, well, let me say one thing. That night, I didn't let him sleep at all and my hips were sore the next morning, more than a fall could explain. We are getting married as soon as this whole COVID thing is over. Oh yeah, he got surprised with the book. Mission accomplished. Glad the brother was okay and definitely should have pressed charges for her smacking him though. Now to the last story of today's video posted by Gaming Mama X2. I know the owner, I get you fired. Years and years ago, I worked retail as a minor. This was the 80s, so in some non-corporate businesses, you could get away with this. I looked more grown up than most kids my age, probably because I dressed more adult than usual for a dinky little gift shop. There were several Karen encounters, but this was my favorite. Karen. You have to give me a discount. I know the owner. He always gives me 50% off of everything. Me. Lady, I doubt that. Karen. I know the owner. I get you fired if you don't give me the discount. Me. Oh, would you please get me fired. Karen. What? Me. He's a slave driver. He doesn't even pay me. I want to be fired. Karen. What? Me. The owner is my dad. Now get out. He would never give anyone a 50% discount because we'd be losing money. She's all red with embarrassment and rushes out without buying. I had to put back everything she brought to the counter, but it was worth it just to yell at someone. I was the only one in the shop that day since I was covering for my dad, so I knew I wouldn't get in trouble. Oh, and yeah, I wasn't being paid, but my parents paid for my college so that I didn't have any student loans. I guess that was fair compensation. Seriously, do people get away with the line of, I know the owner? Has any one of you ever got a discount with that line? Tell me about it in the comment section. And that brings me to the end of our video today. Hope you reach your eargasm with rKush. Good day, everyone.